everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Kathy at Attic Treasures Etc. and it's Scrap Busting Saturday, and so I thought I would just share a really simple, really easy and quick project that you can do with some scraps. I've got some different types of papers here that I'll share with you. Now these are these cute little pockets that you can make. Super simple. I saw Nina Ribena do it first, so I'll put a link to her channel below. But what I did is I took some wrapping paper that I scored from a wedding shower, and I asked if I could take all the wrapping paper home, you know, that they stuff into the bag. Oh, may I just do your recycling for you? Oh, sure, no problem. Yes, so I took all the wrapping paper home, and I've been kind of just slowly going through it. So I've got some wrapping paper here. And the first thing I did was cut it into squares. So I'm going to put these over to the side. Well, first I guess maybe I'll show them to you a little bit better. There we go. So they're just lightly embellished with a little bit of fussy cutting and a phrase, some ribbon, a butterfly and some sari silk, and a button. Super simple. So I'll set those aside. Now these pieces here, I've got, this is wrapping paper, music paper, wallpaper, and then just some scrapbook paper. And these are all 4 inches by 4 inches. And that I'll show you what size that makes. And this one is 5 inches by 5 inches. So really all you need is a square. And it doesn't even really matter what size it is. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches by 6 inches. And then some kind of cardstock. The nice thing about this project is that it can be double-sided, but it doesn't have to be because you're going to cover it up. So it doesn't really matter. Thin works really well. If you have a bone folder, the thicker paper works well too. So just a super easy way to use up some scraps. So just going to demonstrate. All you really need to do is take your square and fold it on the diagonal like that. And then you can trim it a little bit if you want to, just to make it even. But honestly, it doesn't really matter because it's just not gonna, you know, the edges, if they're a little bit off, like this one is just a tiny bit off, but that's okay because it just, you know, won't even really show. The next thing you want to do is sew this side and that side like I did here. This shows it pretty well. Just sew up here and up there or down there. And what I did with this one is I just took some music sheet and I covered it with some napkin that I got at the Dollar Tree. This is just regular wrapping paper. This is wallpaper. This scrapbook paper was a little too bright white for me, so I took some distress ink. It was scattered straw. But you can use antique linen or vintage photo or, you know, whatever you have if you want to distress it a little bit or make it a little bit more vintagey looking, I guess. So that's what I did there, the scattered straw. This piece of paper is just some catch paper that I had that I've just been like inking on top of or spraying on top of and testing some stamps out. So I wanted to try that. And then this piece is a piece of just this cardstock. So I just kind of wanted to get some different sizes in there so you can see what size they end up being. So then the next step, after you sew it, you can round this little point if you want to. I'm just using my little crocodile corner chomper because that's what I have. So I can just round these, or you can just leave them. You don't have to round them. It's just total, you know, personal preference, whatever you like. I kind of like the way they look when they're rounded, so I'm going to go ahead and just, since I have these all in front of me, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Total personal preference. Okay, then the next thing you do is you line up the the point on a line that you can see on your craft mat and fold it in so that it's roughly even, you know, down the bottom, and try to get it even, I mean on the sides, so it's the sides are even. And as you can see, this one, when I sewed it, the machine kind of skipped stitches and stuff like that. Didn't really like going through the wallpaper, but that's okay because most of that's going to be covered up anyway. So then you decide, even before you fold it really, you decide what side do you want to have showing, because of course this is going to be glued to a page in your journal. Can you still see? Good. So like for this one, this is you know, mostly the pink and the gold on this side, but this has a little bit of blue. So I would probably go ahead and fold it with this side showing, and fold it like so, so that I can have some of the blue. Now as you can see, the thicker paper is a little more difficult to wrangle, to fold flat, but that's okay because, you know, it all works out. Then you can decide if you want to sew along the bottom or glue along the bottom. It doesn't really matter. On these two, I went ahead and I sewed across the bottom, and then that, you know, that makes it easy. But if you don't feel like sewing, you don't have to. You can glue it. So what I thought I would do is go ahead and just glue this down at the bottom. I'm going to use some, since this is wallpaper, I'm going to use the Fabri-Tac. And then we'll just embellish this up because this is all about using scraps. And I use all kinds of scraps when I'm making this project. Basically just, you know, whatever you have left on hand that you can devote to this. And I like to make several at a time and, you know, just kind of set them aside. Oh, you know what? I was going to ink this up. So I'll just go ahead and do that now. And kind of go like that. And let's see, is it already grabbed? Okay, it's already grabbed, so let me get, oh look, there we go. And just put that in the side, I mean in the little pocket that it forms, and then voila, it's inked. Okay, that part's done. Whew, that was hard. All right, then the next thing I want to do is just kind of give a little bit of decoration to the front. So what I did was I took a piece of ribbon and the tiniest little scrap of ribbon and sari silk that I could possibly find. So I just kind of folded the sari silk and stapled it here, and then I took this ribbon and I stamped on the word joy with these little connecting stamps, and then a tiny little heart that I got at for 25 cents at the thrift store. And then I put double back tape on it that I got at the dollar store. Pull out the double back tape. You know, kind of get that centered. I just use pinking shears on the ends just so it won't fray. Same thing here. You can get the double back tape off. There we go. Like that. And then one of my little butterflies that I made last week. I'm going to ink him up a little bit. Excuse me. I'm going to glue him on. Like so. And then just to give it a little bit of a finishing touch, I'm going to give a little butterfly a body. If you've watched my videos at all, you know I like to give these little butterflies a little bit of a body. And he's even got a little bit of a head there. And then I'm just going to put some across the staple. That one's done. Now that can be a really cute little pocket on a journal page somewhere. Okay, then the next one that I want to do, and I'm only going to do one more, I'm going to take this one and play with it a little bit. This one I am going to go ahead and sew on the bottom. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back, and we have this grungy little pocket, little envelope pocket that I did ink around it before I sewed on it. I remembered it kind of at the last minute. And I have some of this washi tape that I made from some of the backgrounds that I did with inks and stamps, and just simply put some double back tape on it. So I thought, since it's already grungy to begin with, I would go ahead and continue with that vibe. And I'm going to trim this off a little bit before I cut it. So I'll still have that little piece that I can use somewhere that still has tape on it. Put that over there in my little to be used later pile. Alright, so pull off the tape. I don't know what that is. And then I have a little gear. That I just cut out of metallic paper, metallic cardstock. I bought one of those little 4x6 pads of it a long time ago, and I still have quite a bit left. So I like making the gears out of it because they don't really require much else unless you really want to. Get that stuck on. And then I took one of the flowers that we made last week for Scrap Saturday. And I inked around the edges with that one as well. Kind of offset it so you don't lose the gear. And then I have this little embellishment. It's just plastic. I got it in the Notion section at the fabric store. There's a whole bag of them. I'll just use a little Fabri-Tac. Right in the middle. And just like that, I have this grungy little pocket. You can put something in there, whatever you want. Let that dry. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and embellish the rest of them off camera and come back and show you what I came up with. Ta-ta for now. Okay, I'm back, and as it turned out, I only had time to make one more to embellish it all the way through. So I chose this one made out of the scrapbook paper that I inked up with this scattered straw distress ink. And then I simply glued on some sari silk here, wound another piece of sari silk, and then put a flat back pearl on it right there. So I have 5 done here. They all have a little bit of a different vibe. They're all made out of different kinds of paper. We have this is wrapping paper, this is catch paper, wallpaper, and scrapbook paper. And I really like that they're all different. So I have them to use whenever I want to in a junk journal, or even to send as happy mail. So you know, I hope this gave you something to experiment with, something to play with. Again, we've got some set aside here out of music paper with napkin on it, and then some more wallpaper, and just, you know, play with it. So if you found value in this, or you liked it, had fun, maybe got some new ideas, give give me a thumbs up. So, and if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. I'd love to have you. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. And thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. Leave me a comment down below. I do answer every single one of them. So like I said before, I will link to Nina Ribina's channel so that you can see how she did it. And also she's got some other fun projects that she did on that same video. So you can get some ideas from there as well. So thanks again for watching, everybody. Oh, I'll also link back to this, doing the washi tape and making the backgrounds with the different inks and stamps. So I hope you had a good time, and let the serendipity find you. If something doesn't work out, no big deal. You were going to throw it away anyway, probably, or somebody was. So don't worry about it. Just move on to the next project. Have fun, everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you next Saturday in my next video. Bye, everybody.